Excellencies, distinguished guests, I'm delighted to be back in Reykjavik for the 11th Arctic Circle Assembly. I congratulate Arctic Circle Chairman Olafur Ragnar Grimsson and his team on steering the ACA into its second decade. I've been asked to speak on Singapore and the Arctic, a shared future, melting ice and rising sea levels. The imperative to address this issue has never been more acute. Singapore is located 1 degree north of the equator and is about 7,000 kilometers from the Arctic region. The effects of climate change, however, knows no bounds. The Arctic plays a critical role in the Earth's climate system. It acts as a natural cooling mechanism for our planet. It helps to moderate global temperatures and regulates heat distribution across the globe. However, in recent decades, climate change has disrupted these processes. The trend is clear. The Arctic is warming faster than any other region. Average temperatures in the Arctic are increasing at nearly 4 times the global average, contributing to rapid ice melt and rising sea levels globally. Thus, melting Arctic ice is not just a threat to the lives and livelihoods of those in the region. It also affects countries as far away as Singapore. As a low-lying, densely populated coastal state, rising sea levels pose an immediate threat to Singapore. 30% of our island is less than 5 meters above sea level, and we are not alone in facing this threat. Climate-related disruptions caused by rising sea levels will affect the lives of 20% of the global coastal population. Melting Arctic ice will also have profound impact on the maritime and shipping industries. The possibilities of a year-round northern sea route through the Arctic will dramatically alter trade patterns and shipping networks. Once again, this affects not just Arctic nations, but countries in Southeast Asia, including Singapore. The future of the Arctic is therefore inextricably linked to the future of the rest of the world. Singapore has been taking action to address the threats posed to us by sea level rise. Let me share 2 approaches. First, coastal adaptation measures. Singapore has constructed sea walls and stone embankments covering 70 to 80% of our coastline to mitigate coastal erosion. We have launched the Coastal Protection and Flood Resilience Institute at the National University of Singapore to encourage further innovative solutions for coastal protection. Second, we're trying to enlist nature to address sea level rise. One example is the planting of mangroves and seagrasses to act as natural barriers. Mangroves can reduce wave heights by up to 66%. This strengthens Singapore's coastal resilience and restores ecosystems. However, domestic action alone is not enough to tackle the issue of climate change and sea level rise. In this regard, Singapore plays an active role in catalyzing global climate action. For instance, under the Sustainability Action Package of our Singapore Cooperation Programme, Singapore supports capacity building for fellow developing states by sharing our best practices on sustainability and climate issues. We have also sought to promote the use of blended finance to fund projects in our region to address climate change, like renewable energy infrastructure. Singapore recognizes that the effects of a warming Arctic cannot be addressed by any one country alone. As a small island state in the tropics, Singapore contributes only 0.1% of global carbon emissions. To address the cross-cutting challenges posed by melting Arctic ice, it is necessary for countries to work in concert, share our knowledge, and develop coordinated strategies. Singapore has consistently worked with our friends in the Arctic through multilateral platforms like today's assembly. We became an Arctic Council observer state in 2013 and have participated in every edition of the Arctic Circle Assembly since its inception in 2013. In fact, we hosted the first Asia-based Arctic Circle Satellite Forum in 2015. We also interact regularly with the Arctic Council work groups. Over the years, we have shared our expertise on a wide range of topics. These include the protection of Arctic migratory birds, as well as emergency prevention and response. We welcome the progressive resumption of the working groups under the Norwegian chairship of the Arctic Council. We stand ready to contribute any relevant knowledge that we may have. We have also hosted several senior representatives of the Arctic Council permanent participants on study visits to Singapore. These visits have been opportunities to exchange knowledge on issues like environmental protection, biodiversity conservation, and coastal management. Excellencies and distinguished guests, rising temperatures in the Arctic will affect countries in the immediate region and beyond. Effective partnerships and international cooperation are essential to address this shared challenge and a truly global issue. International fora like the Arctic Council and the ACA serve as important platforms where diverse stakeholders can collaborate on ways to address the impact of Arctic warming and melting ice. Through these efforts, we can build a shared future that is greener and more sustainable for all and for future generations. Singapore will remain a committed and reliable friend to the Arctic region. We will continue to contribute what we can to the important work of the Arctic Council and the Arctic Circle, and we look forward to building on our close and constructive cooperation with our partners in the Arctic. Thank you.